everyone, I'm really excited to make this video. So in this video, we are going to be talking about how to ace your undergrad classes to get a good GPA for your medical school application. A little bit of background information about us. So we are two US third year MD students who recently went through this tough pre-med journey, and we wanted to share what we learned with you guys. I graduated with a 4.0 and in the top 100 students in my graduating class of over 4,000 students. If you get to know me well in person, you will find out that I'm definitely not super smart, so if I could get a 4.0 with these tips, I strongly believe you can too. I also learned a lot in medical school and figured out more efficient ways to get A's in classes, so I will share what I wish I did differently as well. So with all of that in mind, here is what I learned. Let's get started on tip number 1. I think one of the most important things is to go to class or watch the recorded lectures. If you think this is obvious, don't worry, I have better advice coming up. So, professors tend to go over what they think is important in their lectures. If they highly stress it in the lectures and mention it 3 times, it's probably going to be on the test. So from my personal experience, professors tended to test things that they covered in class and not the obscure chapters that they wanted you to read. Personally, I liked the recorded lectures since I would often space out in person, but some people like to go in person since it helps them focus. If your class is recorded, you could also watch it on 1.5x to save some time. If your teacher allows it, you can also ask to record the lecture. This is really helpful for auditory learners who like to listen to things to absorb them. In terms of note-taking, some people like writing things down, while others, including myself, like to type out notes on the notes section of the PowerPoint on the bottom. You can also use tablets to take notes, such as using OneNote. If you are able to take good notes, you can be more efficient and you won't need to watch the lecture again later on. Tip number 2 is something I wish I did after learning about it in medical school. I wish I started using Anki in college. I strongly recommend this because it is a spaced repetition flashcard application. It has been proven to help you remember things, and this is especially important in the memorization-heavy classes like bio, anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Basically, most of the classes that will be a part of your science GPA. The best way to use Anki is to make flashcards for every lecture early on, and to keep up with your reviews. You can even split it up with friends since it's easy to combine the flashcard decks, so one friend can make flashcards for one lecture and then you can make flashcards for another one. It is not as effective to use Anki to cram, and we would recommend against cramming for your classes. We both did it, but we wish we didn't. I think using Anki would have made my studying a lot easier, prevented me from cramming, and helped me retain information better for the MCAT. Another huge perk of learning how to use Anki early on is that it will also help you with the MCAT. For the MCAT now, there are flashcard decks that are pre-made. I really wish I knew about this when I was studying. And then lastly, Anki becomes your best friend in medical school because pretty much everyone is using it to study for step 1. I'll link a YouTube channel called Acing who has amazing Anki tutorials that I used. Tip number 3 would be to go to office hours. This serves 2 purposes. Sometimes professors who know you well will bump up your final grade if you're close with them, especially if their class is over 200 students. If you're on the border between a B and an A, they're more likely to round you up if they know you well. Some professors even have a % of your grade as a subjective portion, so if it seems like you're trying very hard and care about their class, they're more likely to give you a better grade. The best place to go for question clarification is the teacher, especially if you're struggling with a specific question or an assignment. It makes sense to get answers from the person who's literally grading your answers, as opposed to wasting time trying to figure it out on your own or looking it up on the internet. The other purpose that this serves is for letters of recommendation later. So you will need letters of recommendation from your professors in your medical school application. In a big class of over 200 students, this is by far the best way for professors to get to know you well. By consistently going to office hours, you have demonstrated that you care about the class and you're committed to doing well. You will be doing yourself a huge favor for when you need to ask for these letters of recommendations in the future. Tip number 4 pertains to AP credits. For those of you thinking of using your AP credit to take a harder class, don't. Unfortunately, you will boil down to a series of numbers once you apply to medical school. Medical schools care much more about your GPA than whether or not you have taken a higher level class. So why take the chance of getting a B or a C in a harder class when you can get an A in an easier class and boost your GPA? One caveat to this is that taking some of the higher level classes in biochem or genetics can help you get ahead in medical school, but keep in mind you have to first get into medical school. Another way to think about this is that with the free time that you get from acing your easy classes, you can work on extracurriculars and become a more competitive and well-rounded applicant. Tip number 5 is to try to find a study partner with the same goals as you to keep you accountable. We studied with each other, and that was extremely helpful. We were able to help each other out for assignments and remind each other about specific deadlines for projects. We were also able to share notes and fill in gaps for each other. I would say this is especially important in bigger schools that don't have tight-knit communities. Our school had literally hundreds of people in each class, and it was hard to get to know one another. Finding a study buddy early on is extremely valuable, not only to keep you accountable, but also to work through the many difficult pre-med assignments that you guys have. It's true what they say. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I'm going to end this video here since I don't want to make it too long, and we'll cover the other 5 tips in part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you got this far, please give this video a like. Comment below with your own tips, and if you want us to make a video on a different topic. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future video.